a meeting with a potential hire today. I don't think if I interview him, this is for a sprinkler manager. I feel like if I meet with him today, I don't think he's like ready to start right away. He probably would need 2 weeks. And I've been trying to contact this guy. I interviewed him about 2 months ago, and he was perfect for the job, but I was thinking at the time of just looking for a tech, not necessarily a sprinkler manager. And so I didn't make him the strongest offer that, at that moment I gave him a strong offer. I think very strong. And he really considered it. In fact, he sounded like he was going to take it. And then, he shopped that offer around to his job, and his job made him a better offer, and he stayed there, which is totally understandable. But as the weeks started going by, a month, I was like, and I started doing the sprinkler manager duties. And as I was doing those duties, I was like, I think this guy would have been perfect for this position, but I didn't know it at the time. So I reached out to him and I said, like, hey, how's your year going? Are you having fun? Because I was actually having fun, and I was thinking, if this guy had this job, he would really like it. I really nailed down 75% of the sprinkler manager position. The 25% is basically in field stuff, which I don't know if you know me or not, but that's in the field is not my strength. I'm more of a delegator, office, quarterbacking stuff, not necessarily out in the field. Even though I know it needs to be done, I just can't spend time out there with all the stuff going on in the business, you know what I mean? So I don't do training, like as far as the sprinkler manager goes. I should be out in the field every day with every tech, at least one job, at least every different type of repair. I should be there at least once with every tech as a sprinkler manager to kind of go over some of the, order of operations. Hey, what do you do when you first walk up to this issue? How do you address it? How do you charge it? How do you do your walkthrough for that issue? Because every sprinkler repair has a protocol, you know what I mean? Like, they're all different. All the repairs are different, and they should be handled a little differently with the customer pricing and all that stuff, and warranties. So I'm missing that part of going out in the field and kind of doing that kind of stuff. So, and also like the free calls, right? Like when a customer calls and they're a Mo customer, and the Mo guy says, hey, this customer needs their watering turned on or something, or something with the sprinklers. In order to keep that customer a Mo customer and charging them every week, it's in our best interest to go turn on their sprinklers, address an issue that's in the corner. We have our policy, we have our order of operations on how to handle that too. We obviously first try to call the customer and see if we can send out a tech at our regular rates. And when they say no, we kind of look at the situation, and then we try and look at another solution, or that's good enough because we told the customer, what their issue is early on, which is another aspect of business, right? You want to tell your customers what you're doing, like what's not working, so that, when the problem becomes really big and they blow up on us, at least we can have that that in the history of like, hey, we've tried telling you this, we've emailed you, we called you, and you chose not to do it. So, it's not really our fault. I mean, but at the same time, we want to make sure their lawns look good. So there's some things that we do that the sprinkler manager should go and do for free, not necessarily sending a tech who should be generating revenue. That's their main focus, right? Like, as a sprinkler manager, you have your team and you deploy them to make money, not to do free stuff. You're sitting there in the office taking calls, monitoring, moving jobs around. You have the time to go do this service to benefit the company, because even though you are making money dispatching jobs and assigning the right jobs to the right techs, you're still physically not doing any productive revenue work. So, and I shouldn't say productive, but you know what I mean. So they have the time to go there, adjust timers for free, look at estimates that require more than just, an hour's time of the tech. And with an hour, you can do any kind of estimate probably. But, there's a tech, when they get to a property and it's a big problem, like maybe adding an additional line, adding additional valve, that kind of stuff, the techs are wired to try to get it done that day. And as the manager, you should be able to say, no, hold on, let me go do the quote for you. Keep making money today, because this is going to be a big estimate, and it's possible that the customer is not going to want to do it today anyway. So rather than wasting, an hour or 2 hours with drive time to go do this job or do this quote, let me go ahead and do it, and you just go, to the next job and fix, the repairs and stuff. So this position is pretty, it is field intensive, but not like, they're not in the field all day. I think it's like less than 40% of the time. So that's the part that I'm missing when I do the sprinkler manager duties. And and I finally got this guy to kind of want to come back for a second interview. I sent him a pretty long text that took him a long time to reply, but I know he's busy too, you know what I mean? But when it was a good offer, I think that he could have been like really contemplating that. It wasn't an offer, it was just like, hey, this is the job. Like, when you came earlier this year, we talked about being a sprinkler tech, but this is actually the new position, and I think you'd be perfect for sprinkler manager. And I gave a rundown, all in text message, what the job kind of looks like. And anyway, he finally got back to me and said he is very interested. And he was kind of telling me what he's doing at his current job. So all professional. Like, I want to hear that as a business owner. I want to hear that you still have projects left to do at where you're at, and you've got promises that you've kept. That's what he said to me. There's some promises that he's fulfilled. And so now he feels like, you know what? If he did leave them, it would be okay at this point. And I respect that. So then I go to my team and I'm like, hey man, I've got this guy that I've been trying to reach out to all year. Well, I shouldn't say all year, a couple months, but he's perfect guy for this position. And then they're like, well, the season, it's more than halfway through, it's about halfway through, and it's going to be, a big wage. So are you sure this is something you want to do? And then it got me thinking, like they got into my head a little bit, like, they're probably right. But all I keep thinking about is like, what if I let this opportunity go by? And then next spring, I'm like, damn it, I had the perfect opportunity to hire somebody. It was June, and it would have been slow enough to where I could really focus on training him. He could focus on, doing a lot of the training, because we've got some good techs. We've got 3 techs that are young and making good money. And I feel like in my gut that they're going to be here as long as we keep paying them good. And they're getting better, and they're super professional. 2 of them are 21 years old, or 21 or 22. So they're super young, and this is like what they're good at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to find young people that are good at something and making a killing. You know what I mean? So I feel like we have a pretty strong foundation. And if I pass up the opportunity of hiring this guy, I could be kicking myself next year, because I have been looking for somebody since the beginning of the year. And I've had some strong candidates like this one guy, and others. There's probably been 2 or 3 more that were kind of, they weren't like, when this guy came in, he was clearly different than any other candidate. But the other candidates that were really good too, like, I feel would be good techs. I just don't know they'd be good leaders and good managers like this guy. So I think it's like one of those chances. Like, I'm literally at a time in my business right now, this moment, where if I don't take this chance, I won't know it, but I will be hindering my business. And if I take this chance, it's going to be tough, because it's another wage that I've got to pay on top of already where I'm like at my, my labor percentage is actually pretty low if I think about it that way. But the amount of money that I spend on payroll every week is astounding. Okay. And I'm going to add another one at the top tier wages. I'm adding one more. So I'm going to have to get with the team and let them know, hey man, we got to find people in our team that don't need all those hours. We've got to cut back a little bit, because we're gonna, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, but I know I'm at a moment in business where 5 years from now, I'm gonna go, things changed when I made this hire. Things changed. And it's obviously, this is a good employee that I could potentially hire, but it's not necessarily the person, although that is a huge part of it. It's the position. It's having somebody do this position and level up my landscape, my sprinkler team. That's what's going to level up my business. And the fact that this guy is actually, I feel in my gut, really good and can do it. It's the moment. I think it's the moment. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to meet with him today. And I'm going to see how it goes. And I'm really going to, I hope it's not a quick meeting. I hope that we really talk things through and what my expectations are. I've been working with ChatGPT for like a week, trying to figure out the best, like, a list of things I want out of this position. And so ChatGPT is like just taking my list and formulating it into kind of like a job description that I'm going to probably hand to him right when he walks in, and I'm going to try and read it. It's not even been completed because I've been going back to it, saving it, adding more information to it, chat saying, all right, this is great. I'm adding this to this section of the job description. So that's what I'm doing today, guys. I'm at that moment where this one hire could change my business. I don't think it's going to hurt me too bad if it doesn't work out. Obviously, it is what it is. He's a tech. He can be a tech, which is something I'm going to talk to him about. If this doesn't work out as manager, he could be a tech. So I don't think my risk is that bad, but it's gonna, even if it works, it's gonna be a little financial struggle because there's the matter of the winter time. So one of his big things is he needs to have a normal winter job. And I know more than anybody out here that sprinkler techs do not have a full year-round career. They just don't. But I got to try to make that for my guys, because that's what's going to make us strong in the future. Like right now, my landscape division is strong as hell because I I keep them all busy with the snow, and they all come back March 1st. We're hitting the ground running with the same team that knows everything, and my estimator who's constant communication with them. So having a sprinkler team like that will just make us incredible. So I'm going to leave you with that. That's what I'm doing today on this Friday. I will say one last thing. One of the top priorities, besides training the guys, besides making sure that we're making revenue, is to not be the last division in my company of revenue. Sprinklers, I want there to be months where sprinklers is not last in the division. And currently it's in last place for many reasons, and reasons that make total sense. So it's not like the end of the world, but when I make this hire, I need to make it clear that I'm pushing for greatness, and I no longer will want sprinklers to be the last revenue, be in last place in revenue for my company. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with, guys. Take it easy. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've guys got this one hire that you've got to make, that you're scared to pull the trigger, or you did pull the trigger, and tell me how it changed your business. All right, guys. Talk to you later.